I want you to imagine yourself carrying a heavy bag. At first, it's manageable. You can adjust your grip, you feel proud of the hard work, and you tell yourself, I've got this. And you keep going. People around you might say, you're so strong, you always manage. But what they don't see is how long you've been carrying that weight without ever putting it down. And at some point, you've stopped asking whether you should be carrying it this way, because the strength people admire is now the same thing slowly wearing you down. You know that changing your grip, checking your footing, or pushing through a little longer hasn't actually changed the weight before. So now you're not building strength anymore, you're just surviving. And this is where a lot of what we call resilience is actually something else entirely. Endurance is holding a heavy bag and not dropping it. Resilience is being able to put that bag down on purpose, not to walk away, but to decide what actually needs to be carried. A reset doesn't mean quitting. It doesn't mean rest forever. It doesn't mean pretending the weight isn't there. A reset means taking out what doesn't belong, redistributing what does, and lifting it again in a way that your body, your nervous system can carry. That might look like changing how much responsibility you're holding, letting go of expectations that were never yours, or breaking the load into something more manageable again. From the outside, it can look like a pause, but from the inside, it's a recalibration of what matters. So one way of carrying slowly drains you. The other way restores your capacity to keep going without turning strength into survival. Now, pressure is like adding more weight to an already heavy bag. And if you know how to survive, then you will know how to carry more over time. You've learned how to brace. You've learned to tighten your grip. You've learned to push through without stopping to check what's inside the bag. And this is where people often get confused. They start to believe, if I can carry it, it means I'm capable. If I put it down, it means I'm failing. So instead of resetting, they just add more weight. And from the outside, it can still look like resilience. But on the inside, the nervous system isn't growing stronger. It's just getting better at survival. And survival can look impressive right up until it becomes unsustainable. So real resilience isn't about carrying more. It's about deciding what you no longer need to survive to prove that you're capable. It's choosing to make safe carrying less, so you can move with clarity instead of strain. So a reset isn't a trick or a tactic. It's a decision about who you're becoming. Do I want to keep surviving by holding everything? Or do I want to lead myself differently? So a reset means putting the bag down long enough to decide what actually needs to come with you, and only lifting what belongs to the next stage. Now, in real life, this can look like slowing down enough to think clearly again, changing how the load is structured so you can actually carry it, and asking for support instead of proving you can push through. Resilient people aren't tougher. They just don't need to prove anything anymore. They've learned how to trust their capability by carrying what matters and letting the rest go. That's how pressure stops turning into survival. So if you or someone you're leading looks like they're coping but feels worn down, that may not be a resilience problem. It may be that they've been praised, or what's been praised as resilience is actually long-term survival. We don't build resilience by adding more weight. We build it by teaching ourselves and others how to put the load down, reset footing, and lift again with clarity and support. Resilience isn't endurance. It's about knowing how to react and reset so pressure doesn't turn into survival.